Right now, this is what you need to know. The snow is picking up. We obviously see that there on the cameras, on the radar, but it accumulates a little later because the ground is very warm. But once the intensity of the snow picks up, that is going to overcome that warm ground, and then we'll start to see that accumulation. At this point, I'm still happy with the 1 to 3 inch snowfall that we've been talking about. That still looks like it's valid for today. The worst conditions are going to be between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. The winds will start to pick up as well out of the northwest. We already have gusts up to 25 miles an hour. We could see 35 to 40 mile an hour winds later on this afternoon, which is why the Weather Service issued a wind advisory starting at 9 a.m. And again, this is the first snow of the season. And yes, it's not a lot, but when you add in the wind and the slick conditions, just make sure that you are being very cautious as you're heading out the door. So when will the roads be slick for your neighborhood? Sheboygan, we're starting to see that already. And this is likely going to be happening through about the lunch hour. That doesn't magically mean at noon things are going to be perfect. This is just the time we go from snow to rain, so the conditions will improve. For Milwaukee, as I've been saying all morning, 7 to 11 o'clock is when the intensity of that snow picks up. And then looking in Racine, you're a little bit further south, so the snow burst is going to be happening about an hour or two later and lingering just an extra hour longer there. So this is kind of that timeline. You can see what I'm talking about. The intensity of the snow, you can see it on the radar based on the color. So the darker blue color really indicates that more intensity of the snow, the bursts of snow. And that is working its way right on time. We had that timeline yesterday I talked to you guys about, and that's exactly what we're seeing, which is nice when it works out that way. Yes, there's some activity ahead of this, but this is just some pre-activity. This is just some flurries, but the heavier snow is now arriving in Fond du Lac just now, getting into northern Sheboygan, likely in Kohler, areas in Fond du Lac. Just heads up right along 41 there. That can be kind of a treacherous spot, especially in Washington County. I know that that's a particularly bad area usually, so just be very mindful and cautious. Look at Sheboygan. I've been showing this camera all morning. We're just starting to see a little bit of sticking going on the roads, definitely on the ground there. Temperature right now exactly at freezing. This is a heavy, wet type of snow. Right now, Elkhart Lake, the sun's not out yet, but once it is, you'll see more of that. And in Oak Creek, we're seeing the snow flying around, but not a lot of accumulation yet. And a live look at what's happening in Milwaukee. The visibility is going to be reduced as well as that wind continues to pick up. The winds are about 14 miles an hour. Temperature's gone up about 2 degrees, but once that snow starts to fall, it's going to cool the atmosphere around it, and that temperature will fall, and then we'll start to see those things stick. Going into the morning, 7 to 11, the worst part of the day. Then we'll flip to a rain-snow mix and then all rain for the rest of the afternoon, and that wind will be gusting upwards of 45 miles an hour. Winter weather advisory in effect starting in 6 minutes. It goes until about noon, and then we have, again, that wind advisory. We're good to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Next week does have more turbulent weather, which includes rain and snow mix. I'll talk more about that later. For now, let's get you out the door. There's the intense snowfall, just as I've been talking about. We flip to that cold rain for the rest of the afternoon. The roads will likely be like slick and sloshy because of the wetness of the snow, and then things will dissipate leading into the dinner hour. So I've been talking about this timing. It still is valid this morning as we continue to watch the 1 to 3 inches of snow falling across the area, really starting to pick up after 7 o'clock. Here's some good news. I know this has all been a lot, but the good news is if you are a procrastinator and you don't feel like shoveling, if you just wait, by the time you get home, it's just going to be slush and kind of wet. So I wouldn't really worry about shoveling unless you maybe work from home and you see it pile up and you want to get a good workout in, go for it at noon. But if you want to wait and not worry about it, you probably don't have to do that for this evening. Weekend looks good, though, which is nice, but we are in for a turbulent pattern going into next week as well.
Well, at least you have somewhat good news to go along with this. You don't have to shovel.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah.
if you have a sidewalk, you know,
Yep.
to worry about.
Lindsey, thank
Thanks,
you.
Lindsey.